So I have this yarn that I spun a while back. It was actually from one of the Paradise Fibers boxes, and I was really enjoying the spin. It was coming out beautiful until the end. And it got severely over twisted. It's been setting now for a while. So some of the, this whole thing, when I first did it, it went, it like sucked in dramatically. I mean, it was so over twisted. But you can see here how over twisted that is. I mean, it is just massively over twisted. And I could not figure out what happened. My spin had been so beautiful. And then it dawned on me, I think I know what happened. So when you spin, generally, sometimes you'll do this opposite, but in general, when you're spinning, you start off with your wheel going this way, which I guess would be reversed for you because I'm looking in front of myself. So your spin, basically your wheel's going in one direction when you spin. When you ply, your wheel goes in the opposite direction, which is why when you spin, you actually put a little too much twist into it. Unless you're doing a single, you're putting a little too much twist into it, because when you ply, it takes that twist out because it's going in the opposite direction and it's twisting around each other. I think what I probably did was I spun it and then I plied it in the same direction. So I didn't take any twist out, I just added more twist in. And I really think that had to have been what I did, because otherwise I don't understand. When I was doing my singles, they were not twisted like this. But I now have this big skein. Well, it's not big, but I have this skein of yarn that is very over twisted. I did this a number of months ago, so it's been sitting there in skein form. And I think that's why it's lost some of that initial spring it had, but I don't know, once it's made into something and you get it wet, if it's going to do it again. So I have a couple options. One option is I could try and just run it back through in the opposite direction and try and take some of that twist out. But my son got the biggest kick out of this yarn. He just thought this was the funniest, coolest yarn that I had made. You can see right there how springy it is. He just thought this was some cool yarn. Mom, you got to make something with it. So we're going to make something with it. We're going to see what happens. I'm going to knit a hat. And what I've decided to do is I am going to use the basis for the Muscle Burrow by Ysolda Teague. And I'm going to start from the crown and work down. And I'll just work until I run out of yarn, or almost run out of yarn, and then I'll bind off. Do I have the yardage on here? No. The material is nettles. Nettles and noils is what was in the fiber. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're just going to try making a hat and see what becomes of it. And I'm really intrigued to see, when we go to block it and get it all wet again, if it'll shrink up again. And it could be kind of fun. Do you remember when they would make those shirts and stuff and they'd look itty bitty like they were for a kid, but they stretched out? And I'm wondering if we'll end up with kind of that same type of effect with this. So I don't know, but I think it's going to be fun to see what happens. So I'm going to cake this up and I'm going to start knitting a Muscle Burrow hat. And like I said, I don't know, and I didn't write down how many yards I had. I'll have to, well, I guess I could figure that out right now, huh? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 46, so 92, because it was 2-yard nitty knotty, so 92 yards. We have 92 yards. So I don't know I don't know that we would get a full muscle burr hat. So that's why I said I'm just going to start there, work my way down, and then I'll just stop. If we have enough to do a full hat, great. But otherwise, we'll just stop, and then it can have a folded brim depending on how long it goes, or just be a straight hat. So we'll see what happens. But that's what we're going to do. So this ought to be interesting. This would have been a beautiful yarn. I actually ended up with, I did the wrong needle here. I ended up with a fingering to lace weight yarn. I mean, if I had not over twisted this would have been a very beautiful yarn. But no, I had to over twist it. I ended up doing, I didn't pull out my stuff to wind the cake. I just did it by hand, so it's in a little ball. And now I'm on an increase row, of course, when I decide to start talking. I will say the fact that this got so over twisted, I really have to pay attention that I don't split the yarn because the two plies are rather separated. But let's see if I can focus. You can see how it's coming out so far. It's actually knitting pretty nicely. This is going to be really interesting to see how this comes out. So I've been working on this for a while now, and I am finally finished with all my increases. And I'm very pleasantly surprised at how nicely this is working up. I mean, pleasantly surprised because it's nice that I'm using a yarn like this and actually getting something nice out of it. But in a sense, I'm almost disappointed because I thought I was going to have something really funky going on here, and it's not. But look at the fabric. I mean, just looking at that, you would not know this was a highly over twisted yarn. And my son's favorite side, he thinks it looks even better like this on the purl side, because it like really lends to the yarn with the little noils in it and stuff. But I mean, if you really look, you can find those spots that are even super over twisted. But all in all, when you look at this, it doesn't look over twisted at all. It's looking really nice. So we'll see. I've still got this much left. I think I'm about halfway through. Let's see. Ooh. Almost dropped my other microphone. That would have been loud. We got 28 grams in the ball and 31 grams, which is including the needles here. So I'm at least halfway through, which is really good considering I have not had a lot of time to work on this. And it is now Thursday, and this video is supposed to go up tomorrow. So I need to do a lot of knitting today. I started working on this on Monday. So I've been working on it for 3 days now, and I've gotten halfway through it, but I need to have it done by tomorrow. But I will say, at least I am now not doing any increases, so I'm just working. So that'll make it a little bit easier, hopefully. I got to the end. I have just enough left to do a bind off row, but it's not going to be a very big hat. So I had decided, well, didn't fully decide. I was trying to decide if I wanted to just finish it off where it's at, say, okay, that's it, or use a different yarn and finish it off to create a brim. Turn it into something else like a cinch sack or something. And I don't really know. But the main idea of this video is to see how this came out using this severely overtwisted yarn. And I want to block it and see what it comes out when it's done. And if I add a different yarn to it, I'm not going to exactly get that result. So I thought, okay, I'll put it on the try it on string. I have a number of those, but I have been looking and I have no idea where they're at. So we're going to go old school. I got a piece of yarn and I am just going to transfer the stitches onto the piece of yarn so that I can block this and see what the results are of this yarn. I will say though, so far I have been really, and I think I said this already, I'm really surprised at how this has been coming out. It actually looks really quite nice. So we shall see here in a minute. I was almost to the end of a row, but I had figured out a little while ago how much yarn I was going to need to bind off. And when I got to only having that much yarn left, I figured I better stop. So we are just shy of that end row. But with the type of hat this is, if I did like end it at that point and it didn't go through a whole nother row, you're not going to notice it at this stage of the game. So I'm not that worried that I didn't get to the end of that row. Wow. Okay. So this doesn't even look very hat-like at the moment. I haven't worked far enough away from the increases to really start getting that shape going down. You can see though how nice the fabric actually looks, considering the fact, stay in focus, that this is all highly twisted. There's the back side, which does look rather cool. So yeah, we still got some stretch to it. I have my hat blocker, so I will block it and put it on here, and once it's blocked we'll see how it reacts. That's funny. Okay, I will see you all tomorrow after this is blocked and dried. Well, it's another day, and I put this on the blocker last night, and then I set it outside so that it would get a little bit warmer and dry. It is now 2:30 in the afternoon. I should have had this up an hour and a half ago, and I'm actually trying to record this really quickly before I leave the house again, and my phone is in my pocket with text messages going off because I didn't silence it. But you know what? I'm not pulling my phone out of my pocket. Pulling pins out, if you're wondering what I'm doing. because I pinned this onto the blocker. And last pin, there we go. Okay, so here is our end result. It actually has held the shape pretty well from being on the blocker. And I'm like very surprised at how this is knitted up. It's actually knitted up really well. And I do like how my son's right, the inside does look cool with the noils. Oh my goodness, I don't know who's texting me, but they're not stopping. Definitely, whoa, let's put that to the back. Definitely not a hat. It's not big enough for that. Hey, that rhymed. But I mean, I could even take it like without binding it off. You could pull, let's see, I wrapped this around the end when I blocked it so it wouldn't undo, but I mean, you could pull it like this right through those loops that are already there. The loops, the stitches, you know what I mean. So I could pull it like that and make a little drawstring right there. Let's see. There we go. There's what it would be like if it was a little drawstring. I guess it could work as a little drawstring pouch. That would actually probably be kind of cute. But I might do this experiment again later. Let me know in the comments if you think I should. I might do this experiment again later and do it on purpose and do it quicker before it has the time to set in that skein as long as this one did, and see if that makes any difference. But I will say, if you over twist your yarn, don't throw it away. I mean, come on, guys. This was severely, right there, you can see, get it turned right. You can see right in there even. I mean, this severely, severely over twisted yarn. And that does not look bad. So yeah, don't throw that yarn away. Use it for something. Make a little kid's toy with it. Make a hat with it. I mean, even if it's just for yourself. So yeah. If you like these kind of videos, make sure and click like and subscribe. And I hope you've enjoyed this. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. If there's something you'd like me to try, let me know that too. And I hope you all have a great week, and we'll see you all again soon. Bye.